everybody, it's Amanda from Scrimpingmommy.co.uk. Today we're going to make a cute project using the Love What You Do photopolymer stamp set. It's absolutely lovely. We're going to use this flower here, and then we're going to use this, which represents like putting a watercolour wash over, and we're going to use the thank you sentiment. Now we're going to create a box, and the box doubles up as a card. And the box will open and it will contain a small amount of stationery, perfect little gift. So let's get cracking. So first of all, we need a sheet of Whisper White. This measures 7 1/4 by 7 1/4. Then we're using Calypso Coral, and this measures 3 inches by 12 inches. And then we have some DSP layers, which I have taken from the Tea Room Suite. And we need, how many of these do we need? One for the front, one for the back, and one for inside. So that's 3. And these measure 2 7/8 by 2 7/8. And then I have 2 stamping layers, one for the front and one inside. These are Whisper White, and these measure 2 1/2 by 2 1/2. I've also got some of this skinny ribbon, which coordinates beautifully with Calypso Coral, but it's actually like Grapefruit Grove. It's one of the new in colours, but it goes lovely. Okay, so let's just move that to one side, and we're going to make our box first, then we'll do our stamping. So I'll bob my stamping layers there, and bring in my scoreboard. So this is going to make like the draw of the box. So 7 1/4 by 7 1/4. We're scoring at 1 inch and 2 3/16. I need my other scoreboard, don't I? I need my trimmer because we're doing 16ths. I do beg your pardon. So 1 inch. And then 2 3/16. 1, 2, 3. And you do that on all 4 sides. 1 inch. 2 3/16. 1 inch. So yeah, your trimmer goes in 16ths, whereas the Simply Scored only goes up in 8ths. So if you need that tiny bit of a, you know, just a tiny bit of a sliver of a difference, you need to go in 16ths, and that's what we're doing here. Okay. 1 inch. This is not, I've not, you know, this is not my original idea. I saw something very similar on Pinterest, and then I just made up my own measurements. 2 3/16. I had to play about with it a bit to get it right so that it fit nice and snug. And because I wanted the sides to be reinforced as well. So, I you know, it took me a bit of jiggery pokery. So that's the scoring for that. We'll put that to one side. And then on our strip here, we need to score at 2 7/8 on the long side, obviously. 2 7/8, 4 1/8, 7, 8 1/4, and 11 1/8. This Simply Scored tool is slightly easier, I think, because you've got 2 sides to really butt your paper up against. But, you know, you can use either or. Right, so we can move all of those away now and bring my bone folder in. So this is going to be like a wrap for the box, and it's also going to be like a card. So I'm folding all of those over. Okay, and then this small flap here, which measures about 3/4 of an inch, just over, is going to attach onto this first 1 1/4 section so that it forms a box like so. Okay, so it'll form a box like so, and then this part opens. Okay, are you with me? Right, so I'm going to use, I'm actually going to use Tombow. I'm trying to get friends with Tombow because it is good glue. I'm just very heavy-handed with it and I go through too much of it, so I buy bigger bottles. Okay, so I'm going to fold that onto there. This is the good thing about Tombow, is that you do have that bit of extra wiggle room, and that should all just lie flush like so, and then when that's dry it will pop like so and you've got that shape, and this is your card. And then we're going to put a drawer in there. So I'm going to make the drawer, bob that to one side. So here's the card that I scored earlier, and we're going to fold and burnish all of those score lines now. And this is regular Whisper White. It's not thick. It's not necessary to have the thick one because I have doubled over the scoring at the edges so that the box is reinforced. Okie doke. Okay, so now we need to snip away. So basically what we need to do is, and it's very difficult to see on Whisper White, but just like any other box, we just need 4 flaps. Okay, so we only need, of all of these small squares, we only need 1 for each corner. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut from the edge there, the next score line, we're going to cut 1, 2 score lines down. Okay, so let me just show you. Have I got a pencil? Am I that organised? I'm not bad. So if you can't see very well, we've got score lines there and there, okay, on each side. Okay, so we only need to keep this flap. So on each corner we need to get rid of 3 triangles. Okay, squares, and then we're cutting up here and up here so that this makes a flap, and we're going to do the same on all 4 sides. Super simple. Okay, so I fast forwarded this part and we're cutting up to the second score line to make the flap, and we're just going to do the same on both sides. So we're going to do it on one side, then turn it totally all the way around and do the same on the other side. So you end up with 4 flaps, and the sides then lift over and they strengthen so that your box is stronger. I've stuck it all down with Tombow, and again I've fast forwarded it because I was getting in a sticky mess. I know we're getting a bit cross. So we've fast forwarded it so you don't have to watch it all. Just attach your flaps together and then fold over your reinforced sections. Just give that a nice press. I want them creases nice and crisp, and I want to make sure that that glue's stuck down properly. There we go. Okay, so that's our drawer, and this, it slides in. The way it fits the best is to slide it in with the what I call a fattest fold at the side, which means that's where the tabs have gone that you've covered over. Slide it in that way, although it really shouldn't matter. We'll see when I'll try it now when we wrap. It shouldn't matter, but I do remember it fitted, or fit, more snug one way than the other. Yeah, that way. Okay, right, so we want to be able to open that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use my 3/4 of an inch circle punch. I've got glue on there, let me turn it that way. And I'm going to just centralise it, and I'm going to make myself a little thumb notch, and then I'll show you what I'm going to put in my box. So what I've done, and here is my sample, I have cut up some, it's just copy paper, and made a little note block. So these measure, I think I cut them about 2 7/8 by 2 7/8. And I just cut until I had quite a stack, and they just fit in there nicely. And you know, I'm thinking teacher gifts again, because it's that time of year, isn't it? So there. And then I got 3 of the little Stampin' Up them clips. Just folded a piece of paper over and I'll just bob them inside like so. And it's just like a little stationery set. If you could find a pencil small enough, that would be awesome. Okay, so I'll just bob that to one side for a moment, because what we're going to do now is just layer up our DSP. Might have been easier to do this before I constructed it, but we're on to the make it up as you go along section now. Which, if you're new to me, I plan my projects so far, and then the rest of it I make it up as I go along. So I'm always as surprised as you are to see how these projects turn out. Okay, ladies and gents, I did fast forward this part because this part was a section where I had made a mistake. I'd cut all my DSP to 2 7/8 by 2 7/8, and they needed to be 2 6/8. So it just didn't fit and I wasn't happy. So I've altered the sizes and then I carried on going. So yeah, just trimming it down. 2 6/8 by 2 6/8 is the size that you need. I won't put one on the back because I've used up my spares now. And I'll put on the correct measurement. It wants to be a tiny sliver of a hare's whisker smaller. That one's correct. Right. So our stamping layer, we're not going to worry about it. So that now slides in there. Okay. Nicely. Get in. Don't make me out to be a fibber. And it fits perfect. And we've got our little notch there. Right. Nightmare. I'll get on with my stamping. I knew I should have got that job at Aldi and not being a demonstrator. So, stamps I'm using. As I said, I'm using the flower, I'm using the little smoosh, and I'm using the thank you. So on the front here, we're going to use grey granite. And we're going to stamp off. Okay, and then I'm just going to do the full length of the flower. There. And then we're going to stamp off again, and I'm going to do the flower up to there. Okay, and then on this one I'm going to do full strength grey granite. I'm doing the thank you, and I'm doing this first so that I can see how much room I've got. So I'm getting that as close to the top as I can. Give that a press. Okay, and then I can come back in with my flower, stamp off, and stamp on there, and again stamp off and stamp on there. Okay, you can move that out of the way now. Clears my grey granite, and then I've got my little smush here, and I'm going to use Grapefruit Grove, which is one of the new in colours, and I'm going to stamp off and stamp off again. Okay, so I want it really pale, and then I'm just going to stamp that over the flower, and it's going to give us a very pale watercolour wash effect over those petals. Okay, it's lovely. It's a really lovely effect, and of course you can use whatever colours you like. Oh. Okay. One moment. Sorry about that. My doorbell rang. Oh dear, it's all going wrong. Oh dear. I daren't ignore it in case it's a delivery or something, or you just never know, do you? Oh dear. I never had a doorbell at my old house. So. And then the dogs start barking, and then it all just goes pear-shaped. But that's life, you know. Right, so we're going to start and construct this. I have got some ribbon to tie it all together with. So what I'm going to do is, how am I doing it now? I'm going to wrap my ribbon around first, like so, and kind of centralise it. I am going to just do one line of snail sort of central, and then I'm just going to anchor that ribbon. Okay, now there we go, and I'm not going to anchor the back one, and then it can move about if needs be when you open the box. So we can now attach this. One can go on the inside, and we'll have the thank you on the outside. I could have put thank you again on there, couldn't I? But I'm going to put some gems on, I think. Get off. I'll attach this one. Okay. I'll attach that one across over the top of that ribbon there and onto the box. Just make sure your ink's dry first. And then, so there we go. So we have, let me just get some gems. I think it wants a bit of sparkle. Let's have a look what we've got. And get my pokey tool because I just can't get hold of the gems. Otherwise, let's have a look what we've got. Ooh, I quite like them little sequins actually. I wonder if I can manage to do one of those without making a huge mess. And I bet my tweezers aren't in my pot where they should be. No, somebody's nicked them. Can't have anything in this house. So I'm going to try and do it with and use my pokey tool. Let me see. Let me see how I can do this. Hold on a minute. Right. We're going to improvise. Pokey tool. Tiny bit of glue there. Tiny bit of glue there. Right. Now try and lick the sequin so it sticks to your fingers. Stick it on. Bit spit. Stick it on. Get on. There we go. We got there. And then just press it on with your pokey tool. If you've got tweezers, it's much easier. But if you've got a family like mine that nick your tools and don't put them back, you know, it is what it is. So that's just a couple of sequins on there. These are the iridescent ones, so they come in all sorts of colours, so you can have whatever you want. Right, shift and shift. So we're going to tie this in a knot and in a bow, and probably have a nervous breakdown. But there you go, you know, we've made a pretty box, so all's well that ends well. You know that I'm starting to panic when I start pretend singing. And then start humming. It's like my warning that I'm going to have a nervous breakdown. I'm only kidding. Right, so we can trim those lovely ribbons. Let me trim it just a tad more. And there we go. I think that's really pretty. I do think that's a nice gift. And then as you open it with the little thumb notch, push it open, you've got your stationery inside. So there you go. Hope you'll give it a try. Sorry it took me so long and the doorbell went and I nearly had a nervous breakdown, but we've got a pretty box. Have fun.